Hello again. Welcome back to Physical Science. Right, so this video right now is going to concentrate on physical science through Canvas and the type of things that you'll be doing in Canvas for physical science. Right, so right now we're on the Physical Science homepage, which you can see over here on the left-hand corner. Okay, below that are announcements, and so in announcements I might announce we're going to have a vocabulary quiz next Tuesday, so study up on the Quizlet. So there'll be a little indicator there that there's an announcement in there, and you want to go ahead and read that and see what's being announced. This discussion section, I will set it up so that when you're doing lessons and you have a question, you can post the question into discussions. And this way, it'll be open up to everyone in the class. And so if another classmate can answer the question, go ahead and do that. And that way the question can be answered sooner than maybe I can get to during my, I can't get to any of the questions until fifth block planning. So, answer the questions if you know the answer and help your classmate out. You can go to the grades here that are below there. The grades are just the grades on Canvas. There won't be the same grades that will be in PowerSchool. But by those grades, what you can get out of that by looking at the grades, you'll see that you've submitted assignments. You'll be able to see your grades there, what grade you earned, how many points you earned. But you'll also see feedback, important feedback. So you'll be able to see what you missed, and there'll also be an individualized, personalized just for you, what you missed and an explanation on what should have been the right answer and why that should have been the right answer. All right, so this way you don't have to leave that lesson without understanding what you missed. You'll be able to correct your misunderstanding. All right, okay, so moving down. All right, so over here in this middle section, after everyone has done this first day's assignment, I'll remove it so it won't normally be there. But the attendance will always be there, the times for each of your blocks, so you'll know when you need to submit your attendance. Just a reminder of when my planning period is, when it's a good time to reach me, and my email. Okay, so then there's a short description of the course, which we'll go over in another video. There's links to things on there. I'll go over it in another video. And then down here is where you're going to see the units. Okay, and this is how you access the lessons down here under the, you click on the image and it'll take you to the unit. But I want to go back up here for a moment. All right, so here you would see course notifications. And this would be if I need to communicate to you as well. So if you ever see that lit up, you want to click on that notification and read what they might be. Under this to-do list, you'll have your assignments that are due that day will be listed. Now, since we'll be needing to assign assignments for a whole week, you will see a whole list there. And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed about that, but you will just pay attention to the date and what's due for that day. But you won't click on here anyway to go to it. You need to go through this because there's other information on this page, on the lessons page. And I'll explain when we get there. Okay, so our first unit is going to be scientific measurement. So this is where we'll begin for the first 2 weeks. So you would just click on the image and it would take you to the page. All right, and this would be the unit page for scientific measurements. Okay, so right off, we see that there's a Quizlet, and that Quizlet will be available to you throughout the entire unit because you will take a vocabulary quiz the day before the test. All right, and the vocabulary quizzes are a really good way for you to boost your grade. There's something that's kind of easy to study, and you study it and you can make easy 100s and make up for maybe if your test scores aren't that good. Okay, so in Quizlet, I know you've done Quizlets before, but I just want to show you something. Okay, so here we have you have the list of terms, and so you can look through what they are. You can study them by the flashcards. That would be good if you're doing this on your phone. But a really good way to try to study, I think, is to take practice tests. All right, now when you click on tests, now the first time you click on this, um, it'll come up. The questions will come up as like written, multiple choice, matching, all these different versions. But you want to take this in multiple choice because your quiz will be in multiple choice. So you might as well practice in multiple choice. And it also avoids having to spell out words and that kind of thing. So down here, which you can't see because this box for the recording is in the way. Click up here. All right. So down here has print options, and this box comes up. All right. Now, normally when you open this box, all these will be yellow, and these questions might not match. All right. So what you want to do is unclick all the boxes except for multiple choice, and make sure your questions match. If they don't, say if that number didn't match, then you can just type in the question so they match because you don't want to be skipping words. All right, and then just create new test. All right, and then you'll have a multiple choice test. All right, so let's just click on a couple, and once you've finished it all, then you would just go down to the bottom and check answers. Okay, and once you've done that, you'll get a score over here, the percentage, and then it will tell you what you got right and what you got wrong. Okay. All right, when you're finished with that, one thing to notice with Canvas, you can see the left arrow. The left arrow in this case, because notice up here that you can see scientific measurements, and that was what we were working on Canvas. That Canvas is still open. If I want to go back to Canvas, just click on that. This would take you back within Quizlet, just within Quizlet. Okay, so if you're finished with Quizlet, just close the Quizlet box, and you'll be back at the Canvas page. All right. This is an extra credit assignment that you can take, and I will explain more about this after we do the metric measurements lab because you're measuring volume displacement, and you need to understand what that is first before you do this assignment. Okay. So down here are the lessons for the week. So you can see the daily lessons Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, now we have 3 different groups. All right, so Group A are the students that come to school on Monday and Tuesday and do the remote Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Group B students are the ones who start off remotely and then come to school during Thursday and Friday. And then Group FR is fully remote. So these students are ones that are fully remote. Okay, so you would find what class you're in, which group you're in, and click on that day's assignment, right? And so today you would be clicking on like introduction to class, and it would take you to what you're doing right now, which I just have on the front page because I knew you wouldn't know how to find this yet. All right, now, all right, so let's just click on an assignment on here. This will be different on Monday when you're looking at that because it'll just be introduction to class for everybody. Okay, so but this is just to give you an example of how a lesson looks. All right, so notice this is a lesson on the metric system, which is our first, real lesson, content lesson. All right, so for the metric system, you can see that we have engage, explain, explore, evaluate, extend. Okay, so engage will always be like a short activity just to get us started in the unit, an opener for it, and then explain will be like the PowerPoint and I can statements. And explore will be where you're actually doing something, where you're practicing those concepts that were explained in the PowerPoint And evaluate, you'll always take a review quiz each day, and it's just 10 multiple choice questions. Each day's lesson will end with that review quiz. And that's a good point to remember, and I will explain to you why in just a moment. All right, so say we are on this day for lesson on the metric system. So the first thing you want to do is come to this unit measurements video and questions. Okay, before we move on with that, let's look at these points since we're here. Canvas grades on points. All right, and they only have two types of assessments. They have assignments, and that's where you will type in things or submit photos, that type of submission, right? And then they have quizzes. They call everything a quiz, and that's all the multiple choice stuff, which a lot of it will say quiz, but they're not quizzes. Nothing is a true quiz except for the vocabulary quizzes. Okay, but if we look at these points, they will every day those points will equal 100. Okay, now PowerPoint grades in percentage. And so this is an easy way for me to put that lesson grade into PowerPoint. So you will just receive one grade for the day on this whole lesson, and it'll say like lesson on metric system in PowerPoint, in PowerSchool, and say you earn 85 points. So in PowerSchool, it'll be 85%, right? That's how that will work. Right, so let's just click on the first lesson, just see how it goes. This will be a quiz. It's going to be a multiple choice. It'll be a video and a quiz. A quiz and then, a video and then a quiz after. So you'll be able to see how a quiz works in Canvas. All right, so we will, if you notice, this video is just 3 minutes long, 3.25. Okay, so you'll just click on that and watch it. I'm not watching it right now, but I'm just letting you see.
Can you believe my soccer team's going to Italy?
Okay, so you may recognize that from other science classes, possibly. May have watched some Scholastic Study Jam videos. I like them a lot for physical science because they'll go over a concept and as a really good opener and explain it in a fun way, very short, fun way. Okay, so after you watch the video, you will take the quiz. Okay, so you just click on that and quiz questions come up. There'll always be 7 on these videos, 7 questions. All right, so see, there's 7 questions. All right, so we're just going to answer a question. What are 2 major systems of measurement? All right, let's just click on something, and you would click next and go to the next question. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and say I've done it all, and I'm going to submit the quiz. Well, right now it's telling me that I have 6 unanswered questions. All right, and so, I want to answer all of them. And so what you want to do is click cancel. Click cancel, okay? And yes, I repeated that so you remember that it's cancel. Because if you click OK, I've got 6 unquestioned. It will submit the quiz. All right, so see how that one was answered, and so it's a different color. These were the unanswered ones. And then you can just click on whichever one you unanswered, and it will take you to that question. Your computer should move faster, in case I haven't mentioned it before, because it's recording, everything moves slower. Okay, so then you would submit quiz. So this time I'm going to just go with it. All right, so the responses here are, you will never see the correct, I won't give you the correct answers through this. This means you can see the correct answers and you will see them at one point. You'll see them in the feedback at the end of the day, but you won't see them throughout the lesson. Okay, so you will see your score 0 out of 14. And that's about it that you'll get from here right now. But when you, at the end of the day, after I put in the grades and give you your feedback, you can go to grades. Right, and you'll be able to find those lessons for the day. Okay. They're not necessarily in order because it'll put it in alphabetical order. So that was properties. No, it wasn't. It was measurements. Units of measurement quiz. And I've got a 0. All right, so this is one way we know that we've answered it because there's a score there. So all these other ones, even if it isn't coming up multiple choice, then you will, or by these numbers actually, you'll be able to look to see what you've answered by the score. So you can click on it, click on the assignment in this grade form, and you'll be able to see this, which doesn't do much for you. Just submission details. You should be able to see your comments. I guess because I haven't graded it yet, and that's why you're not seeing anything. We will work all this stuff out through the semester as we go along. Okay, so I'm going back to the home page. All right, so that's how you do a quiz. And now I'm going to just show you how to do an assignment. So let's go back to the unit. Okay, so let's look at, this will be an assignment. All right, so this PowerPoint, the PowerPoints will always be, you have your option on how you want to cover this PowerPoint. So there will be either an audio recording or a video recording, and you can listen to it while you read through it, or you can just read through it if that's what you prefer. Personally, that's my method. I like when I look at a news story online and there's a video of the newscast, but there's a transcript, I always click off that video and I just read through the transcript. That's how I prefer to learn. That's how I learn best. But some people are auditory and they want to hear it or they need to hear it. Some people are visual and they want to see it and they want to view it as it's being explained. So you'll have your options there of which one you want to do. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what a PowerPoint looks like. One of my type of PowerPoints, because they'll always kind of look the same with the blue background, yellow and white font. I like color, so I don't like doing just white backgrounds with black, yellow, letters. Okay. All right, so when you're in a PDF, you can always make them smaller. I find that easier just to click through it, just to read through it and scroll through it. You might like it bigger to see it better. It's, a personal choice. Okay, this is being slow. All right, so when you do these PowerPoints, you'll always have I can statements. All right, so I'm going to go back here for a minute. Here are the I can statements. So the first one was define the term matter and explain how it's related to atoms. All right, so we were here. Okay, so we know when you get here, you have the I can statements repeated again, but ours was we wanted to define the term matter and explain how it's related to atoms. Okay, well, the very first informational slide is here on matter. Matter refers to anything that has mass and takes up space. Okay, so there's a definition for matter. It has mass and takes up space. Okay, but we still need to know how it relates to atoms. Okay, well, here it is right here. All matter is made up of atoms, right? And can exist as solid, liquid, or gas. Well, it didn't ask about this part. It said that all matter is made up of atoms. All right, so back on, you can click through the both. Back on this, I can go ahead and start my submission. Now that I found that I can statement, right? So when you click on submit assignment, which was up at the top, this, I forget what they call this. I think it's a smart editor. I'm not sure. Okay, so we want to answer the questions. Now, we had 4. The I can statements will always be up here to remind you. So we have 4. And I am asking you, right here, type in your answers, making sure to click on the number button so that each I can statements responds to the question. Each of your responses responds to the actual I can statements. Okay, well, here's the number button. And this will make it easier for me to find your answers. And, if you want me to grade your stuff correctly, it'd be better if I can find your correct answers, right? All right, so first one, remember we wanted to define matter. So matter, and then you're just going to type in your answer. So matter refers to anything that has mass and takes up space. And then the second part of it, of the I can statement, was how does it relate to atoms? And you can just say all matter, is made up of atoms. And we've got that one done. So then we can move on to the next one. So read the question first and then read through the PowerPoints. Right, so these I can statements are it's a note guide for you to pick out the main points of what needs to be covered. And it goes all the way back to the standards of what we're supposed to be teaching. And then I base the I can statements on the standards. And I make up the PowerPoint. I've made up the PowerPoint previously based on the standards. But these are the main points of what you should be able to get out of after you have read or watched a video or listened to the PowerPoint being done. Okay, once you finish typing in your answers, it shouldn't really take all that long. You just submit assignment. And when you submit the assignment, this is my favorite part. Go. Come on. Come on. Wait for it. Okay. There it goes. The confetti. Confetti will drop that you submitted your assignment. So the assignment was successfully submitted. Okay. All right. So now you don't necessarily want to go home. What you can do, I'm sorry, you should be at home. But that's not, I meant home on Canvas. You don't want to go back there or even back to that page. You can just click down here on next and it will take you to the next assignment for the day. So remember I said that the very last assignment, every lesson, will be the review quiz. Okay, and so this one was the explore part where you're actually doing something and, with that concept. So you would complete that one. And once you do that one, then you would go on to the review quiz, which is just 10 multiple choice questions, very similar to the test questions that you'll have at the end of the unit. Very, very similar. So just a good way for me to assess how well you understood it and for you to see how well you understood it. And it will come with, after you submit it and I've been able to grade it, you will get individualized, feedback on your question so that you can correct it before you take the test. All right, and like I said, this will be the end of that lesson. If you click next, it's going to take you into the next day's lesson, especially since we have to put them up for the whole week. Okay, so see, it's on the next day's lesson. And, if you want to go ahead and get the stuff done, you can, but you don't have to. You're just If you want to do one lesson each day, that's good too. It's up to you and how you want to do that. Okay, so that should be it. If you have more questions about how to do any of these, let me know. Remember that you can, when you're taking attendance, you can type in the questions there. You can put them into discussions. And you can always email me, of course.